Hello everyone, I'm Santiago and today I'm gonna be testing Witchfire on the Steam Deck. Thanks to the astronauts for providing a code of the game. So this unfortunately right now is an Epic exclusive, it's an early access, and as far as I heard the developers are going to bring it to Steam once it's finished, which I think is around a year from now, which is understandable. Is very few people, it's an indie project, it's been in development for a while. So yeah, let's get it to work properly on Steam Deck. I use the Heroic Games launcher, which allows you to play your Epic games on your Steam Deck. So link in the description on how to set it up. So UE4 game, and I'm impressed on the amount of options considering this is an indie game. Good job, guys. So FOV goes from 60 degrees to 120. Personally, if I'm on a monitor, I keep it at 90 to 100, but on a handheld, smaller screen, 80 degrees should be fine. There's also a custom FPS limit, and there's many upscaling techniques. So if you have an RTX card, you have the DLSS, but this is the Steam Deck, so native resolution, NIS, NVIDIA image scaling, TAAU, FSR1, FSR2, and XeSS. So good job on that. All the upscalers are there. That's awesome. XeSS looks the best on the Steam Deck in my opinion, but it's more of a performance impact. So my advice is 800p, XeSS quality, and look at the amount of settings we got. I love this. Detail mode on high, basically draw distance, medium shadows, they take a performance hit, TAA is good enough, textures on medium because VRAM, effects on low because there's many effects on screen. Yeah, that's basically it. I disable chromatic aberration, depth of field and grain, and motion blur because I don't like them. And well, let's get into the game. So first of all, you'll notice this is like the hub area. Seems to be a bit more demanding than the level I'm going to show you. But basically you come back here very often. Basically each time you jump in and out of a level, and it seems to run worse than the levels that I tried. But again, early access, going to improve with time. Right now we have two locations, Scarlet Coast and Irongate Castle. The rest ones are on early access, are blocked because they're working on them. So there will be more areas to explore, but so far we have only two because it's just the start of early access. And why am I targeting 40 FPS? Well, that's because when you target 60s, you get CPU limited. That's basically the reason, even at the lowest settings. So sometimes some textures take time to load. Let me check the map very quickly. Yeah, we should go this way. And as you'll see, as soon as I start combat, there'll be lots of effects. And as you can see already, the CPU is limiting the GPU. Drops the core clock of the GPU since they're sharing a 15 watt TDP. But it's a very good looking game considering considering the size of the company. And why I do not recommend this at 30, because it's very fast paced, as you'll see. And well, the frame times are very inconsistent if you don't lock the frame rate to something lower. But I really do love the art style, the combat, and the game is very punishing. And it's weird to fight in how to say it, in medieval dark fantasy with guns instead of using swords. I didn't know I needed that in a video game. Anybody else? Oh, hi there. Oh, yeah, as you can see, you die very easily in this game, which is fine by me. But as you can see, the frame times are horrible because we're targeting, well, we have a low frame rates first of all, and we get very CPU limited. And when we're CPU limited or GPU limited, any of those two, since we have only a 15 watt TDP, when the CPU needs that power, or the GPU needs it, they need to share it. So that creates inconsistent frame times, as you can see here. So that's the issue with it, hence why I recommend a 40 FPS cap. Even a 45 FPS cap should suffice, which you can do in the game if you want to. It's not perfect. The frame times are pretty inconsistent. Yeah, I'll target 40. So I recommend using an external FPS limit. I'll show you how in a moment. But as you can see, the frame times are still pretty poor on targeting 40s with the in-game FPS lock. So my advice is do not use the in-game FPS lock. Use an external one, not even the one on the Steam Deck's menu. We need to add a command, which I'll show you. But the game is gorgeous, as you can see. The thing is, we need to lock the frame rate properly, and otherwise it's going to suffer. Another thing you can do to improve the consistency of the game is using FSR2 instead of XeSS. But the edges will look worse. So yeah, anyway, as you can see there, it's pretty bad with this FPS log. So let me switch to handheld and show you how it runs at 40 FPS. Alright guys, so good news and bad news. I couldn't lock the FPS with the MangoHUD command like before, so that will have to wait for the Steam release of this game. So, same settings as before, but without the FPS limit. What I'm going to do right now, which might be very controversial, we're going to lock the refresh rate to 40. That's a classic. Then we'll go to the game and enable VSync. So the game will lock to the refresh rate of the screen, in this case 40 Hz. And we're going to allow tearing because VSync is already being done by the game. And the settings are basically the same, as you can see right here. So let's get back into it. And as you can see now, in this part it drops frames, which is normal. But once we get into combat, let's see what happens. Again, I'm using XeSS because the game looks much better with it, at least in my opinion. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Let me see the map first. I should go this way. And also, this is my first time playing this with a controller, so bear with me. Horrible gameplay aside, let's see once action shows up what happens. Some drops here and there. Yeah, some spikes there in the frame time, which are kind of annoying. Maybe it's the VSync, actually, now that I think about it. But this is way better than locking the game to 40 FPS using the in-game FPS lock. I think that needs work still. But again, early access, this is going to improve, that's for sure. But visually, it's very attractive. Okay, it seems to be traversal stutter, actually. Interesting. Where's the enemies? That way. So, small team, lots of nice options in the menu, some traversal stutter, and developers that work on this game worked on the vanishing of Ethan Carter, that's why the environments look so gorgeous. People that worked on Bulletstorm and Painkiller are also involved, but again, not the entire teams of those games, people that were key parts of those. And you can really see the mix over there. I mean, the shooting is clearly from someone that worked in Bulletstorm. The aesthetic is more like Painkiller to me. And then the environments are clearly from people that worked in the vanishing of Ethan Carter. You can really notice the photogrammetry trickery that they put there. Pretty impressive. And it's running way better than I anticipated. So yeah, great job, the astronauts. First impressions are great. Cannot wait for this to come to Steam, probably a year after this, which is their plan for early access. They plan to be early access for a year or a year and a month or something like that. So at that point, we should be seeing this game on Steam, as far as I understand, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so far we seem to be good. Some spikes in the frame time. But I think this is the best setting in a way that you get good image quality. I'm at half battery, that's why it says that I have an hour left, so it should be around 2 hours of battery. There's also a castle level up to this, but I'm going to check that out later on. Okay. So, in my opinion, this is fine. XeSS should be the best image quality possible, but again, it's more demanding. So up to you what you want to see. Strongly reduce weight before stamina begins to regenerate. Yes, please. So yeah, but the other thing, you can use FSR2 for better performance and worse image quality. So again, my advice is use XeSS, but if you want slightly more consistent frame rates, let's use FSR2. Or if you don't mind using FSR1 or NIS or TAAU, those are also options. The sharpness, I'll keep it at around 70%. Otherwise it's super soft. And the settings are the same. So now the edges will look more chunky, but you have more GPU power to spare, basically. More room to spare. Well guys, I've been playing this game for a few hours and man, I'm loving it so far. It's very addicting. Cannot wait for them to finish the rest of the maps and this to land on Steam. Also, you probably didn't notice, but the reticle is in the middle of the screen. You can... By default the reticle won't be on the middle, it will be a little bit lower. You can disable that. Same with the enemies. When you attack them, numbers jump out of them. The damage numbers. I didn't like that, so I turned it off. So all the options are there. They really have a lot of options on the UI terms as well. Oh, and you also have magic. I don't know how to use it with a controller yet. I'm guessing it will be this? Yeah, there we go. I also like the effects implementation. And you can play at 40 on the Steam Deck. Again, why not 30? Why not 60? Sorry. Well, simple. We're CPU limited. Although there we were CPU limited and we dropped below 40. Which is a shame, but hey. Let's try that again. So I'm going to skip ahead, so you're back into the action. Okay guys, welcome back. Now I'm going directly to one of the hardest parts of this map. Just to make it hardest, I mean by difficulty. I still see traversal stutter, which is a shame. But I don't have much more of a... There's nothing I can do basically. But we seem to be heavily CPU limited again. I'm targeting 60. For targeting 40, you can be there most of the time. Why does that destroy my stamina so quickly? And yeah, I know, bad gameplay because Gamepad, so bear with me. So yeah, I need to go ahead. Wish me luck. But I saw that when there were many effects at once, just a second ago, it can drop below 40. Wasn't super major though. I was basically dead at that point, so... Right. Oof, the guy with musket. But I'm loving this on Steam Deck. The thing is, I'm just terrible with the gamepad. I'm playing this on PC with mouse and keyboard and it's been a breeze. Controls fantastically well. But hey, 40 FPS on Steam Deck. Maybe in the future, if they keep improving performance, we're going to be able to do 60, but who knows at this point. Okay, here we go, the boss fight. Okay, very strong. Jesus. This is not going to be good. Oh god. It's a difficult game, as you can see. Which I'm super into with mouse and keyboard. So yeah, conclusion time, lock it to 40, play with FSR2 or XeSS on quality. XeSS will run a bit worse, but it will look significantly sharper, and the edges are not super blurry, like on FSR2. But FSR2 will provide better performance. Okay, there's too many enemies here. I dropped into the 30s. I don't know what happened there. I just got surrounded. No way I was going to survive that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you don't like those drops, maybe lock it to 30. I wouldn't recommend it because it's a very fast-paced game. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Cannot wait for this to have a full release. But for now, I'm pretty impressed. So yeah, see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.